life. Everything for life. 15 pa, 1 vote. 15 pa, share the way. APC for what? For life.
Hello, welcome. This is Say Prayer Guys, in Nigeria never happened to you. My name is Richie Adewusi. Welcome to this very last live stream on the on the Say Prayer Guys, my Nigeria never happened to you live stream and postcard for season 3. This is the very last episode, like we've informed severally, and we'll be taking a break after this episode, and then we'll come back with fresh live streams and a brand new season from the 28th of August. Welcome. For those of you who are joining us for the very first time again, my name is Richie Adewusi. Today we are discussing the conspiracies against the peoples of Nigeria. A lot of people like to watch movies. Sometimes when I'm not trying to dig up something, researching or writing, I spend some time to watch movies. I used to do much more of movie watching before now. And the movie referencing now, I watched it a long time ago, but I think it's a popular movie. A lot of people maybe might remember. And if you haven't watched it, I think you should go watch it. It's a very good movie. It's called Gladiator. Gladiator is the story from ancient Rome, if you like, the Roman Empire under Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius, well, an emperor is an emperor. But Marcus Aurelius was old, getting old, but had a general named Maximus. That too, well, wasn't his original name. But Marcus Aurelius was a wise emperor. Had a son, a very ambitious son, but then the old emperor didn't think or knew that his son was going to be bad news as a successor. So he chose Maximus instead. Informed Maximus, still had the, well, fatherly responsibility and courage to call his son and say, well, you are not going to succeed me. Maximus, which became the slave name he was given after, there was general, but so let's stick with Maximus so I don't confuse you too much. Was the general of his troops, leader of his troops, successful, a good leader. Marcus Aurelius informed his son that Maximus is going to succeed him. The son didn't like it. Killed his father, took over the empire, had soldiers go after Maximus's family, kill the wife, the son, believed that they had also executed Maximus himself. Fast forward with Marcellus' son having become an emperor, a very terrible emperor at that. Wanted the focus to be only on himself. Everything was about him. The Senate was about him. the people became restless. And the Roman population, the general population, they didn't like something happened. They will revolt, riot. So he built huge colosseums, invented games, had gladiators fight in the colosseums, human beings fighting human beings, killing human beings in the colosseums. Sometimes animals, lions and all of that, fighting human beings, killing human beings. So blood, the people were pacified with blood flowing all over the place. They gathered in the Colosseums, declare holidays, stay in the Colosseums, games, distractions. Don't ask me what's the relevance of this to Nigeria. I think some of you listening to me, you're already connecting the dots. But then, hold on. Somehow, Maximum survived, got sold into slavery, became a gladiator, and ended up in that Colosseum in Rome, fighting. Towards the end of this whole narrative, he had become known. The people have come to know him. The emperor had come to know the emperor's sister, whom he was close before all went bonkers. The senators knew he was alive, and he was the one that was now called Maximus, fighting as a gladiator. There was an initial plot which somehow got revealed. The initial plot to still make Maximus Caesar, which Marcus Aurelius had, chosen him for over his son. There was an election in 2023, don't forget. I'll come back to that. So what I'm talking about here is not offbeat. The murderers, if you like, murdering, manipulating emperor was so obsessed with killing Maximus that eventually, in one of the very last scenes in that movie, he decided to descend into the arena, in the Colosseum, to fight Maximus physically, one-on-one combat. And this is where it gets interesting. This is, metaphorically, this is, for me, where Nigeria is right now. I'm not the one saying it. It's been public knowledge without declaration. INEC has still not come to declare it that, okay, that will be one 2023 election. But then Delefaro to me has been screaming that from the top of his voice from 2023 to now. And in recent times, some more knowledgeable people, respected people, hate them, like them. They are who they are. You can't do anything about who they are. Notably, like General Obasanjo said, I'm an old man now. I can't keep quiet anymore. Obi won that election in 2023. Some other person who's also knowledgeable, you guys, from the calculation we had, from the results we had, Obi won. So who is emperor in Aso? No. that Obi was declared a third place finisher in 2023 was not an accident. It was more like selling Magnus into slavery after he had been chosen to become Caesar, and Caesar's son killing Caesar, taking over, believing he had killed Obi, see now, believing he had killed Maximus, was living large, pacifying the people with distractive games. What's going on in Nigeria now? Several types of distractions, many types. Dramas and not so, well, if you like, tragedies, banditry, kidnappings, terrorism, Nigerians being killed almost on a daily basis across the north and other parts, massive lootings, budget padding, accountability thrown to the dust. Credibility had been out of the window like a century ago. Transparency, not necessary. The Caesar who killed his father made a fatal error by going into the arena to fight Maximus physically. Wanted him dead. But Maximus is a trained soldier, a general. The Caesar too, well, was a soldier, of course, but then they're not, make no mistake about it. People are talking about somebody being a strategist. Strategists at what? What exactly would anyone say that as a private citizen or as a private Nigerian was President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's job? Or Mobile or Total, whichever one it was, at whatever time. The light, what I said, no, he was not, no. Well, after that, in what other areas, really? What is his business? Politics. And a very, very destructive, manipulative brand of politics from time. I witnessed it, I've experienced it from when he was governor of Lagos State till now. Prior to 2023, we were screaming. It's not about hatred for the person of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Every other thing considered, these baggages that are out there that are still, making the rounds there, which should make any right-thinking person want to distance himself or herself from him, yes. But Nigeria is bigger than anybody, has always been, would always be bigger than anybody. So in talk, making this comments or making these preferences, it's not out of hatred, it's out of the love for Nigeria and the peoples of Nigeria. But myself, and then everybody who is saying that this guy is not fit to be the president of Nigeria. Because it didn't start today. It wouldn't end today. Just like that emperor who killed his father is not fit to be Caesar, he showed in everything he did, thinking that he had taken care of matters. Of course, in 2023, INEC and APC and Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and all their enablers felt they had jettisoned Peter Obi to the back end of Nigerian history and politics. Wrong. That was the reason why they put him at third. Because if he was second, something could happen and it'd be him. No, it cannot be him. So even if anything happened and it wasn't Tinubu, so the other guy, whose name I never really want to mention, I've said my reason. No, his principal who he worked with, I said no, it's not fit. So What's the desperation about? What was that son's desperation about being Caesar? Greed, self. Not the empire, not the people. The people got restive, created games, built huge museums. They are building style highway, Sahara Desert, Atacama Desert, plus the Red Sea highway. Meanwhile, existing highways that the peoples of Nigeria are using, plying for their daily needs, are flooded. See the pictures online about the Benin or Benin Shagam highway. It's not the only one. Mortal Kombat, himself and Maximus. So, ostensibly, this 2027 election is Bola Ahmed Tinubu ostensibly and Peter Obi. And Nigerians are behind Peter Obi. I am. For his records, for who he is, he's probably the only one among them, I mean, Nigerian politicians who had conquered greed. That's the reason people are rooting for him. But every day you see vestiges and more vestiges of greed, more greed, more greed, and more greed from this administration. Every day. About 45 billion naira to reconstruct or repair or reconstruct a runway in an airport, Kano Airport. 45 billion naira to repair highway. Imagine what that money will do to the issues of electricity in Nigeria if there was sincerity in getting anything fixed. But let me not, get it all scattered and, twisted. We'll take it one by one. What's my interest in that one-on-one combat between Maximus and the Caesar? It wasn't about two of them. It was about the role of the people, the crowd watching in the Colosseum, on the terraces, from the terraces, and most importantly, the role played by the people who had encircled them, the people who formed a circle around them as they fought, the military and the senates, and some of the senators who had descended. That one-on-one to the point that in spite of the fact that the Caesar had sent, listen, okay, has sent soldiers to secretly go and injure Maximus in his cell. They knifed him and concealed it, so he was kept. So thought, oh well, actually he was weakened. Before Caesar now challenged him, okay, let's finish this once and for all, and they got there. But during that, in spite of the fact that Maximus had already been injured and weakened, he managed as a soldier. He was used to pain. A man who's used to building things from scratch. Yes, he was born into a rich family. Peter Obi, yes. But it's been used to building things from his student days. Credible things, not criminally inclined things. No. He keeps succeeding. Went to become a governor left office, didn't depend on public office or public funds to keep going, went back to his business. What has been Bola Ahmed Tinubu's job since he left as governor of Lagos State? What? Politics, manipulations. And you think that there's anything good, though. So you guys that are supporting him, this is not hatred. This is reality. It's time for you guys to wake up. Think Nigeria and Nigerians for the first time. I've said this severally on this program. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not a Nigerian president. He's not a Euro president. He's Bola Ahmed Tinubu and boys president. And you've seen that in this story about the fake agencies, in stories of so many controversies around all of them, short and tall of all of them, money, looting, pilfering, stealing public funds, humongously. As Maximus and Caesar fought, at some point, Caesar's sword fell. He had no sword. Maximus, was still armed. Remember, this was Caesar. And he called to the soldiers, give me a sword. This is my interest in this story. Give me a sword. The leader of those troops that surrounded them there while they were fighting ordered his men not to move. Yes. The Nigerian military, I'm not calling for a coup. No, not coup. No. Because the soldiers there could have killed both the Caesar and Maximus and take over. They didn't. They did what they should do. Fair play. Stood on the side of the people. The people wanted Maximus. The soldiers wanted Maximus to lead. So no one handed Caesar's sword. And of course, the obvious happened. Not invoking or in any way suggesting any kind of a personal attack on an attack on the person of the president of Nigeria, President Ahmed Tinubu. No, I just use this story as an analogy of what is happening in Nigeria, and saying that the security agencies, state apparatus, from the judiciary, the role they are supposed to play in a democracy with the different arms of government acting in check and balance formats to protect the people. Yes, that's why I told this story. The emperor needs help now. Oh, sure. Sure. The emperor needs help now. The emperor is smelling coffee. Oh, true. Are you his supporters? Are you seeing where Nigeria is? Are you being touched by anything that's going on? But incidentally, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not start this whole thing. No. This whole conspiracy didn't start with him. For those of you who are calling him, what the people who are for him and perfected state capture. Those ones tried to capture the state. They didn't quite succeed. Now he's perfected state capture. And well, he's you could almost be said he's captured the state, but unfortunately he has not been able to capture one very important component of the state, people, they are not with him. The people who are clapping for him are people who are benefiting one thing or the other, directly, materially, or sentimentally from him, or from his being the one that is president of Nigeria. Sentiment should no longer be attached to anyone seeking public office in Nigeria now. No, it shouldn't be. Merit should be accountability, credibility, transparency, empathy for people, ability to get things done for the good of all. Micro and macro. Yes. Translation. Micro. People need to eat every day. That's development. That's big for you business people, investors, and yes. What are you investing? When who is buying what you are selling? What exactly are you even selling? How much of it are you really selling if you want to be sincere? If people have money, you have no money to buy nothing. So technically, what's actually happening is some kind of manipulation bubble thing, you know? Yeah. So I've said President Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not create the conspiracies that have been used to hoodwink the people of Nigeria. There's an origin. Well, even that origin is not the real, then we can trace that because we have it on record. Okay, we have it on record. Where this whole idea of there's no need for productivity, I just want to take over and control. It doesn't matter whether the people who are put in charge can get things done or not get things done. No, I just want to be in charge. And the people who are seen as productive and all, they cannot be there. All they just want to do is control everybody. It became a policy that has remained, a policy for which those who are saying Peter Obi will never be president of Nigeria don't even know the reason why they are saying so. That's the funny thing. Some of them is just a hatred of no, it's because he's this from this place. It cannot be. So long as what happened to competence? What happened to integrity? What happened to credibility? Whatever happened to real performance, not touted performance? No. What happened to them? Those are the conspiracies. It cannot, nothing. No, he has not done anything. When he was governor of Anambra, what did he do? But no, like again, Richie, calm down. Yeah. So let's take it one by one. Let me show you who started this whole conspiracies of don't trust the Igbos. We use this severally, not out of hatred again, but we are talking about historical perspective, historical facts that have remained, that has not helped Nigeria and the peoples of Nigeria, that need to be dismantled now. The restructuring that has to happen in Nigeria has to start from the human level. Group Nigeria in whatever way. Once you don't heal, once you don't make that effort for people to choose to heal by themselves, no superficial structuring, restructuring will work. It has to start at the human level. And for me, that is what the combination of Peter Obi and Alhaji Rabiu, Mr. Kwakwanso brings. The first thing it brings is the healing. An attempt towards rebuilding national unity. Yes. Nigeria is not a unified country. I'm sure you know that. So even if you think no, you know you are kidding yourself. Sure, right? So now let's listen to the Sardauna of Sokoto, the late Sardauna of Sokoto, Alhaji Ahmadu Bello, in that infamous 1964 interview. I'll come back to that interview again with another thing. That's, you see that this whole thing didn't start today. You are just playing along. When you're clapping for them, you're just playing along. And they keep using those conspiracies to distract you why they keep looting, why they have kept looting. And the looting has not shown any benefit to the people. Let's listen to Sultan. Sorry, no, yeah, Ahmad, the Saldana, Sir Ahmad Bello. Let's listen to.
One thing I've noticed, Premier, while I've been here, is that Northerners seem to have, I might almost call it, obsession about the Igbos. Could you perhaps explain that to me?
Well, the Igbos are more or less the type of people whose desire is mainly to dominate everybody. If they go to a village, to a town, they want to monopolize everything in that area. If you put them in a labor camp as a laborer, within a year they will try to emerge as headman of that camp, and so on. Well, in the past, our people were not alive to their responsibilities, because you can see from our northernization policy that in 1952, when I came here, there weren't 10 northerners in our civil service here. Then I tried to have it northernized, and now all important posts are being held by northerners.
Is this policy of filling all key posts in the north solely with northerners and not with other Nigerians a temporary or a permanent one?
In actual fact, what it is a northerner first. If you can't get a northerner, then we take an expatriate like yourself on contract. If we can't, then we can employ another Nigerian, but on contract too. This is going to be permanent, I should say, as far as I can foresee, because it will be rather dangerous to see the number of boys who are now turning from all our learning institutions coming out with having no work to do. I'm sure whichever government of the day might be, it will feel rather embarrassed, and it might even lead to bloodshed.
Doesn't this damage the idea, sir, of all people in all regions in Nigeria being fellow citizens of one country?
Well, it might, but you are, I mean, new to our region, but how many northerners are employed in the east or in the west? The answer is no. And if there are, there may be 10 laborers employed only in the two regions.
There are no biases in that video. Well, you must know, as they say in local parlance in many of the cultures in Nigeria, you must know where the rain started beating you for you to know how to prevent it from happening the next time. That interview, some people took it literally, figuratively, anything. It became policy that has remained to ostracize a particular people in Nigeria. That led to the Civil War, eventually. Before that interview was given, the musician, Nigerian creative, the musician whose song we are featuring today on the program, Rex Lawson, a song in 1962, 2 years before this interview. We're talking about conspiracies, remember? 2 years before this interview that you just watched on YouTube now. featuring Ahmad Bello. That was titled "The Goat is Bleating." It was a song about people speaking up. If animals could bleat, the goat bleats, dogs bark, crow, humans should pick up. That's what the song was about. It was about don't keep quiet. You're being silent in the face of, because what eventually showed 4 years later in 1966 didn't start in 1966. But meanwhile, by 1966, when unfortunately the Saldanha was among those that lost their life in that coup of January 1990, the troublers of Nigeria, focusing on a particular group of people here, now say that it was an Igbo man that released that song, that he was mocking the death of Saldanha, which was anything but the truth. Had nothing to do, not the lyrics, not the timing. The person who did the song was not Celestine Ukwu, who was being accused of being, alleged to be the one that did the song. Wasn't Celestine Ukwu, it was Jim Dawson, an Ijo man, not an Igbo man. Conspiracies for political reasons, for political benefits, political advantages. What are the conspiracies going on today? Let's fast forward, let's come down. But what's the main issue in that interview of Ahmad Bello? You can't control a person. All he wants to do is dominate, take over. He gets to a place, he wants to take the lead, he wants to be in charge, Industry became a crime from that video. Yes. Productivity became a crime from that video, from that time. In case they're not adding the dots. Yes. Northernization became Nigerianization. Minus a certain people. That has come till today. Till now, till 2023, till Alex Yakweme, we can go on and on and on. I am not here about tribal sentiments. No, I'm here about Nigeria. And because the issue of Nigeria is cutting off your nose to spite this. You are cutting off, you've ostracized, you've marginalized, you've removed one of the most productive groups in Nigeria. What they have been doing has been on their own. Yes. Before the Civil War, after the Civil War now, yet the attack has not stopped. But this attack now, it's an attack on Nigeria. No, it's not an Igbo thing anymore. It's about the people. You see, it's about that fight in that Colosseum between Maximus and Caesar. And state apparatus, state structures finally waking up to say no to tyranny. People I'm not going to tell the end of that story because it must be either that movie ended well the way movies should end, a new beginning. Let everybody. That new beginning was more like what happened in 1999. Yeah, remove Abacha, remove Abiola, So let's start afresh. Let somebody new come. It's still like, you know, whitewashing a sepulcher. What is inside it is rotten. You need to fix the basics, superficially. There has a chance for letting the will of the people manifest. The election still needs to be conducted. So look at the essence of the issue of that soldier saying, no, nobody should give Caesar sword. He wins if he's able to defeat Maximus, so be it. That is what should happen in Nigeria. So Mr. INEC, Professor Amopito, be a Nigerian. Senators, stop being rubber stamps. The National Assembly generally. Of course, questions are being asked now. Lone voices, but then there are voices. In the National Assembly, there are voices. From the elders of yesterday that are still there today, voices, more should come up. Now, let's tell you the reason it's important. Take note that it can no longer be business as usual. There's been this talk is for people in a room typing on Twitter. I mean, no, it's not so. They are on the streets, physical. Now, how do I know? I've said it more than once on this program, but then, you see, when certain things that are not maybe so related happen, the wisest should take note. In the last 2, 3, 4 days, today is the 31st of July 2026. So let me put the date there, put everything in context. There's been something trending that you say these young people and their bandits. No, it's not people. Any wise person should take notes and instruct himself or herself accordingly. There's a South African musician that's supposed to be playing in Nigeria sometime in December. And young Nigerians took to social media to say, no, she's not coming here. Not after what South Africans have done to Nigerians and other Africans. For and against. The people say, look, well, creative videos. There's one particular one that caught my eye, and I laughed. The young man said, okay, what's wrong with all of you guys? Let this lady come. Come, we want you to come and come. Why not? Come. Why all of you? What's her problem? She's not the one that killed anybody. Come, just come. Look, we're here. Come. Come. And I'm like, wait a minute. What's wrong with this young man? Why is he? What's with him? And then he turned his back to the camera and walked away from the camera. And he had in his back clubs, shovels, picks to the South African musician call. We're here. I'm like, oh, okay. Beyond serious. They've been cautioning INEC. They've been cautioning to say votes must count. Votes must count. The election must be transparent. It must be credible. You see, with this, well, as of today, as of this morning, there's news all over the internet that the South African musician has cancelled, has removed Lagos from the list of the cities she's visiting for her work. If you are there, you're Nigerians, especially the youth, perish any idea of rigging that election. I mean, the 2020, that is yours. That should tell you. You can say military, the military too are, they don't buy bread from a different market. Somebody showed a video the other day of the ration that were available. As a matter of fact, there was a young contract trader that got detained, got charged to court over reporting that, look, say what the soldiers who are in the front line are being fed. That was his own crime. Even when all he was doing was speak out for the military, especially the soldiers from. Now, you see this book again, Biafra, let's begin. For those of you, some of you are looking at it, you think it's about. Oh, no. Nobody knew Nnamdi Kanu when I wrote this book. I wrote this book in 2010. That's 16 years ago. There was no IPOB in 2010. Nnamdi Kanu was, as a matter of fact, at that time, Nnamdi Kanu, I've shown a video here showing him in a public march, carrying Nigeria flags, speaking positively about Nigeria, asking the people, the political class, the leaders of Nigeria, to think about the people and not in the IPOB as a Nigerian, wasn't talking Biafra anything. It got to a stage that it was like, no, this cannot work. This is not working. The youth of Nigeria have gotten to that stage to say, this is not working. And to make matters more interesting, somebody that seriously cannot be described as a Nigerian politician has appeared there in the horizon. It was in the horizon before. It's no longer in the horizon. It's there now in their midst. Free in their midst. Physical, visible in their midst. Credible, transparent in their midst. Peter Obi. So they have an alternative to queue behind. Yes, that's the difference. And with that alternative they have, behind whom they have decided to queue up, they are now determined. The only missing ingredient in activism in Nigeria has always been Nigerians will talk, make noise. When it comes to action, everybody will run back to their home. That has changed. It has changed. And you need to see that it has changed. You do not want to dare to see if, oh, don't worry, this is not what. No. It will not end well. So, I'm going to play you a video now. Someone sent me that video just this morning. It wasn't actually part of, what we have dug up to use before this morning. But by this morning, I'm like, oh, okay, people are waking up. A video of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Last episode, we were saying, when is he going to speak to the peoples of Nigeria? I think Peter Obi himself too granted an interview and said the president should come out of the bunker in Aso Rock and speak to the peoples of Nigeria. Whether it is because of that or whatever other reasons that the president now, whether it was an interview or it was a program and he made those comments, I want to play you to hear that I believe that even the president is smelling the coffee himself. he cannot not but smell the coffee. There's an election warming up. They are warming up for in Osun State in another 2 weeks or thereabout, less than 3 weeks from now. And what's happening? A sitting governor, a sitting ruling party, that state, is being harassed. Their members and officials are being indiscriminately arrested for no reason. That's a sign of new politics. It was a sign of politics in Lagos. And we said this guy will nationalize what he did in Lagos. Nobody listened. But I think he himself is saying that that road is not express. You know, it's not a freeway. There are bumps, huge bumps. But he's now acknowledging that, well, that they have to go through those bumps too to get to him. Let's hear President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Let's hear.
The security situation is what it is. We don't have another country but here. It's Nigeria. And then we revert to our national anthem. In its complexity, diversity, we shall thrive, live, rejoice, and be good to all of us as humanity. And that is what we do. Yes, I've seen that. The challenges are there. I inherited it. I didn't run away. I asked for this job. And I'm in it. Those who will take it from me will try. They will try. All is fair in politics. And it's equal opportunity. And like you mentioned, are neutral. They've never intimidated anybody. If political opponents are trying votes, maybe they are afraid of their own shadows and the uncertainty in the companies they keep. Not me. I'm ready to, but I won't give them red carpet. I won't offer them the leash to tie me and rope me. No. We wrestle each other to the finishing point.
Well, I'm welcome back. I'm really not sure why my guys decided to play the short form of that video. I'm not sure because there were so many other things that I said in that video, including that all is fair in politics. That he was not going to make it easier for people who are contending with him to, that INEC is not being partial, that INEC is not intimidating. Why would a president, a proposed contestant in an election, be the one speaking on behalf of the umpire? So, for me, that says that the umpire is not neutral anymore. That's a red flag. Saying that all is fair in politics is a red flag, which any discerning person would apply to understand what is happening in Osun, to understand what happened in Ekiti. You saw that young woman at the beginning of this program, 15 wine, they wine, 15,000 naira for a vote. In a state where less than $500 million is budgeted for primary health care. In a state where the ruling party and the incumbent governor spent, even if we calculate at 5,000 naira per vote for the number of people, number of votes by which he won, over 1.5 billion naira in vote buying in that election. All is fair in politics, right? That's coming from the president. At no point, even they said other things, go let your churches feed you. Before I came here, poverty and hunger have always been in Nigeria. The president that wants to be elected, that's presenting himself for election, that's the message. Those are the messages you have for the people who are going to, if not that you have other things in mind, which again was made public by one of his ministers. The Minister for Aviation, Festus Keyamo. He says what's going to happen in 2027 is a coronation, not an election. So we keep saying on this program, why would the ministers, his assistants, advisors, his wife, why would these people keep demarketing their principle? You are telling Nigerians, live television, that what's going to happen is coronation, not election. So there's no need, there's no election. That's what you told them. And then your principal comes up and says, all is fair in politics. His wife, again, we've said the people who are advising her should tell her to stop talking, but she has not had. Face the young people in Lagos. Lazy young people in Lagos, all they want is to come and queue up in their house to ask for money. Really? Where did you get that money from? If not that you have, well, whoever other persons to vote for you, you are antagonizing, you are they are lazy. All they want is your money. They come to your house, or they come to your house to ask for money. And your husband is preparing for an election, wants to be elected. Why would all this happen? You believe you have divided finally the peoples of Nigeria. They can never come together. They can never agree. Somebody started it. You believe you have perfected it. No, you've not perfected anything. They've woken up. Please smell the coffee. They have woken up. That incident over the South African musician should tell you that they know, they are organized. Now, they will say and they will do. They didn't say there will be no election. They didn't say, okay, resign now, which you should have since, because you failed. This is a failed government. Nigeria is not a failed country. This administration is a failed administration. That you must draw the line. People must be able to draw the line. We're saying Nigeria never happened to you. They say, Richie, are you crazy? A friend sent me another story. A young in Nigeria, Nigerians, back to Ilorin, Kwara State, not central Nigeria, they're doing well. And I'm like, why do you guys think that this is a credible story to use to say everybody is doing well in Nigeria? Oh. The primary challenge in Nigeria as of today is insecurity. The issue of the seeming disregard for the sanctity of human lives, which must remain the primary concern of any government, the protection and safety of life and property. Any government, anywhere in the world, you fail that, you failed. And this present administration has failed woefully. They didn't start terrorism or banditry, but they have done so much more because of, if we talk, this group will not support me. And that's the danger of not picking credible people for leadership positions. You pick somebody who is used to arrangements, transactions, who can farm out anything for a position he or she wants. You're in trouble. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is very transactional, has been very transactional over time. And that is part of why there is a strategist. Strategist for what? You have people who can get in those positions and have done far better. You have them even when he was governor. He was never the best governor in Nigeria when he was the governor, in spite of the humongous wealth that Lagos has or had and still does have. This is not a personal criticism of president. No, it's not. He's the president. So we can't talk about anybody else. Meanwhile, they are all focusing on talking about who? Peter Obi. That's the topic of their campaign, Peter Obi. Not what they're going to do to address specifically. Peter Obi is addressing issues. Peter Obi is stating what he's going to do, what his administration is going to do. Yes, he's going to build a coalition of Nigerians. He didn't say, me. I'm going to build a coalition, and we are seeing that happening. Whatever he has taken the two of them to come together. Alhaji, Dr. Kwakwanso, Mr. Peter Obi, coming together. It's not ordinary. People need to understand where Nigeria is coming from to think that that's just a superficial alliance. No, it's not. It comes from serious sacrifices from both of them. Both of them are still undergoing serious pressures from different groups that they represent. But their focus is where? On Nigeria and the peoples of Nigeria. And that is who needs to get into Asoro. To even begin to repair anything. It's not a silver bullet. No, I've said this severally. But they are going to make it possible and attractive for more credible people to come into governance. What is there now are people who have all sorts of baggages that are all just interested in covering themselves to escape accountability. Yes. From the presidency to the Senate, the chief of staff of the president, he says he's the whistleblower. He's the one that shouted that somebody is a fake DG. But it's emerging from the Senate, the senator. All the signatures to different agencies, from the central bank to the security to the service, civil service, all of the letters have the original confirmed signature of the chief of staff, but one, except the one with which they said the alleged DG was appointed. So let's assume that, yes, that young man, of course, committed a crime by presenting himself to be what he's not. Okay? So, okay, and the Mr. Deyami himself had said that, yes, they had already taken him to court before, arrested him previously before this arrest, taking him to court. That why would he now still be talking about putting a budget for the putting a figure, you know, pressing for a budget in 2026 budget. There's a gap, there's a hole, a space that had been created, and he now has been made to take the fall, rests in court, and then that money still has to be, okay, we can put this money here, yes, put up, okay, sign. Of course, if Mr. Adeyemi, the alleged fake DG, did not speak out or did not refuse to give more bribe or share more, that agency would have remained. And there are more. Even if they are not fake, you have more paddings in the budget. Construction and reconstruction and repairs of palaces for traditional rulers across Nigeria. Construction and reconstruction of mosques and churches across Nigeria. Government. Hello. And the ones that are happening in plain sight, that everybody is saying. Coastal superhighway, 40 billion to reconstruct runway. I mean, Kano Airport in Kano. 40 billion runway. That runway must be paved in gold. Yeah. They must have been calculating to pave the runway in gold. So, the president understands that, but then they are determined. You see, this is why it gets crazy. By now, well, I understand that the commissioner of police for Osun State is alleged. I don't know how true that it is. Anybody that they used to replace him can still do what they want to do. I told the story of Maximus and the treacherous Caesar because of the role that the military, well, the structures of governance played, that surrounded them, played in that last scene. No, we will not support anybody. Let the right thing be done. So, let the right thing be done. The youth of Nigeria have been shouting it. So many videos. Well, okay, look, listen, professor, that will be returning officer. Don't cheat, don't change. We will be there. They have been shouting. What did they do about the case of the South African musician? They didn't show any guns. They just went the same thing they are telling you. Don't plan to read this election, it won't end well. They told they don't come. They are not coming to Nigeria. Who you, the promoter, whoever. Well, the young lady borrowed herself sense and said, okay, please, I'm not going to Nigeria. So, all of you who are going to be involved in playing one role or the other in that election, 2027, borrow yourself sense. Like the young people will say, listen to the young people, even if you don't want to listen to yourselves, even if you don't want to listen to people like us. I used to call them geriatrics, reshuffled and recycled geriatrics. So when I look now, I ask myself, okay, who are you? They are geriatrics. Okay, looks like I'm getting close to joining them as geriatrics. Abi? So even if we have no, what about our children? What about our grandchildren? What happens to thinking Nigeria? What happens to thinking fairness? What happens to thinking about things working? You see full-grown men some of whom used to be respectable and reasonable yesterday, mount the podiums, get behind the cameras or in front of cameras, whichever one is appropriate, and declare things that would make your stomach churn and like, does this one have a family? Does this one have children? What are we telling our children? Exactly, yes. Oh, of course, we're bringing them up to be the tinubus, Abi, city boys and city girls, Abi. Yes, that's who we're bringing. So what this means is that the political class now are incubating a class, a succeeding class worse than themselves. Marcus Aurelius was not a soft Caesar. Yes, he wasn't soft. Go and look at the history books. But he has a son, a terrible son, succeed him by the son killing himself. And of course, the empire scattered going forward. Yes, eventually. But Nigeria will not scatter. No. For Nigeria not to scatter, the peoples of Nigeria must learn to speak out. I will show you one person. He's a politician too. He's shouting because, well, he's now impacted. It's always when they are impacted directly that they shout, but then their shouts still speak for what is happening, what has been happening, or what could be happening to a larger sample of the population. Okay? The upcoming Osun election. There's actually another video where the governor himself took to the rostrum and said he's been intimidated, a governor. I've shared here my eyewitness account of how a sitting governor in Nigeria was tear-gassed by mobile police. Just that is governor of the, yes, he's on the ballot, but then he's governor of the state. What did he do? He was just to see what was happening around him. No, they tear-gassed him. Stay, you can't come out. Governor of the state. Yes. So what are they doing now? They are arresting the opposition in 2026. It's not even arresting the opposition. They're arresting the incumbent administration, officers of the incumbent administration. The opposition is, trying to diminish the strategic positionings of the incumbent administration. So let's hear that official from Osun tell you what they are doing, what they have done. Let's hope they will reverse it, or that they have even reversed it already. But it just tells you what they are planning for 2027. It's still a miracle that Peter Obi is still walking around. Well, he said his life is threatened. Some people have gone to court to say nothing must happen to him. But when we return from playing this video, I will share another eyewitness account of the conduct of one of the present principal officers of the Senate as at today in a state when he was an officer, a principal officer in the state. So when you have such people being the ones in control of things, what's different? What changes do you expect? None. None. In short, they become more emboldened. And you can see that in their speeches, as in Keamo, is a coronation, is not an election. In the president himself, well, all is fair in politics. All is not fair. The people still matter. The people still should matter. The people still must matter. Okay? So let's hear that official from Osun State.
Let's watch. In the last 2-3 days, over 86 people, members of our court party, has been arrested for no reasons. These people are arrested and brought by road to Abuja, and they have been detained here unnecessarily. We have met with the leadership of the police, and they cannot provide any explanation to us. There is no petition against them. These people have committed no offense. Nigeria is going down the drain. We cannot allow this to continue just because we are having election in Osun State. Today, having visited our people in detention, we discovered that 36 has been taken to Kefi, 14 has been taken to Kuje for no reason, for no single offense committed. This must not continue. Just now, I have just been informed that the SSG of Osun State has been arrested for no reason, because he was sensitizing his people about election. There's a need for Nigerian police to understand that this is government institution, and you cannot reduce government institution to partisan level in politics in election. There's a need for us to have a free, credible election. We must not destroy the reputation of this country.
You heard that, official. Those kinds of things should not be happening in 2026, in the Nigeria of 2026. No. You want to win an election, perform. Oh, perform. Performance, bring the people to your side to support you. There's nothing anybody can do about the people. The people can decide to be docile or whatever, but when the people choose not to remain docile, you have a problem. And it's exactly what somebody said. Now the people, Nigerians, now they will make noise, they will go and sit back. I don't think so this time. And to show that that's not likely what is going to happen this time, they told somebody from South Africa, stay back. You will say, oh, it's not the same. No. Why I brought it up is not about the person in South Africa not coming. It's about the determination of the youth of Nigeria. They've been telling you, don't plan to rig this election. If you can win it in a straight win, everybody will say, oh, we thought this person will win. Yeah, free and fair. Everybody will take it. I will. But that you rig it, they've told you no, and I'm so happy for that. Before now, they were afraid to die. Now, they are no longer afraid to die. They are not. They are no longer afraid to die. You can bet on that. Yes. And that's a heartwarming development. Okay? That's a heartwarming development. And rigging of elections does not happen without structures being compromised. Right now, virtually all structures of governance, of public administration in Nigeria is compromised. Is it judges that have collected mansions from the principal officers of the administration, even against the ethics of judiciary, of the judiciary? It's against the ethics, but they collected Wike's mansions in Abuja. So what kind of judgments are they going to give? Is it the judges that are given ears to non-existent association, non-registered association to disrupt and create problems for a registered political party? You're already seeing those things happening. And the peoples of Nigeria have told you, this time, we will not go to court. They're telling you, this time, they will not go to court. If you want to understand what they mean by that, what happened with the South African musician should be instructive. It should be very instructive. For me, it is. I'm like, whoa, these guys are, you will say, is it not, that person is not government. there's no government without the people. Nigerians and the peoples of Nigeria have allowed for government to be the people and the government for decades, for different administrations. They are telling you enough is enough. We don't want that anymore. You better listen. You better listen. And to let you know that people are no longer afraid, the next video I'm going to play for you now is a bombshell. Just like the issue of the fake agency is a bombshell, an eye-opener. These things have been happening. People have been rumoring them. People know. People have information about them. It's been like, it's alleged. It's not true. It's rumor. No? But once in a while, somebody gets bold enough to say, no, this is enough. I'm going to speak. And the next video falls within that category and exposes some of the untouchables before now in the National Assembly. Even when Nigerians know that they should be touchable. But the evidence, the wave and weight of evidence as to these conspiracies and manipulations and distractions, which have resulted in poverty, hunger, and disregard to human life in Nigeria, not to talk of property, is what the issue is. And people are beginning to speak, even at their own risk. The person in the video I'm going to play now has been arrested by, well, it's alleged that is it alleged? He's been arrested by the DSS. Okay? So, I'm going to play you a video of a young man from Borno State who said in that video that a particular group of abducted Nigerians from Borno State, their abductors, their kidnappers, were eventually put in a position where they could make a demand. His words, not mine. You'll hear him in the video. And they made a demand that they wanted 5 billion. And when it got to the issue of releasing money, magic happened. When money shows up, okay, people in government to show you that this whole thing has been a conspiracy. This whole thing has been a business. This whole thing has been an industry against the peoples of Nigeria. By the time he got to money, they sidetracked him and said there's a new mediator from Asorok, and then the money that was released got to be lesser than the money that was given to the bandits, the terrorists, the kidnappers now reported collecting, and because of that, did not release all of the kidnapped persons. And then what then happens? The name of a prominent senator was mentioned in the video. And then what would DSS do? What's the response? The whistleblower is arrested, just like Adeyemi is arrested. Senator Ndume is still a senator, he's still there. Just like Femi Gbajami-Amila is still the chief of staff to the president. Yes. Let's hear Mr. Kaigama.
His name is Mr. Samaila Ibrahim Kaigama. Thank you so much for being with us on the program.
Thank you very much.
Talk to us about Borno. What is going on? And how are you people surviving? We just try to give people an idea of what Borno is what's happening in Borno from January up until yesterday.
Yes.
How are you people surviving this situation? And is there some kind of confidence in the work that the military is doing in Borno?
I think military by now, that state would have been overrun. So I'd say they're doing a good job. But at the end of the tunnel of whatever they're doing, there is still a lot of political games being played.
What do you mean by that?
Yes, of course. You see some of these attacks, these are politically motivated attacks. Now let me put it very clear to Nigerians. Because normally when I come on live or anywhere, they know what happens. I get to put out whatever. Now, you look at these attacks happening from the period they started. It started around the political, in fact, campaign period, preparations for elections and all that. Now, the women of the Goshe, that is the 416 women and children. They were what? They were, at a specific point, you see the media talking about they were rescued, they were this, they were that. We did the mediations. I spoke to those people. I put those people into a position whereby they had to make a demand. Because initially they had no plans of releasing those people.
You spoke to the terrorists?
Of course, I was the one who made all the process. The video you saw online, I was the one who directed them to get that video for us. Okay. You know, it took me around 2 to 3 weeks communicating with them until I got to the top, you know, end of wherever I was supposed to reach. We had these discussions. They agreed to make the video proof of life. One thing Nigerians don't know, they made a first video. The first video was not good enough. I had to still tell them to make another, which kind of brought some, you know, and all that, but it was settled. At the end of the day, they made the second video and the world got to see. So now, when the whole process came to a specific point, when the mediations came to a point whereby monies were to be paid, let me quote and make it clear, ransoms was paid. Keep it aside, we know that.
Will you keep quiet?
Ransoms was paid in billions. Around 5 billion was released.
By who?
Well, you want to call it the federal or state government, but ransoms were released. Now, those ransoms...
Was it by the federal government or by the state government?
You could put it as state government, federal government collaboration, because if there is a lot of outcry from the people, bring our people, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, sorry to say, I'm not a political supporter or anything of anybody, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is innocent. In anything you see insecurity, state government are the ones orchestrating and making money out of this whole insecurity stuff. Now, when those monies was almost paid, as Senator Ali Dume, I quote and I quote again, as Senator Ali Dume, according to what they told me, and I have evidence to back that, they said there is a media person that calls himself a media person, a second mediator. He is them Senator Ali Dume, and government person. They told us to communicate with him. It is only through him that monies will be paid. Monies will not be paid through anybody because he is their in-house mediator.
Welcome back. I think Nigeria has a protection program or policy or decree or statute for protecting whistleblowers. I think so. Adeyemi is arrested by the state whistleblower. Kaigama is arrested now by the state whistleblower. Are they lying? They say they have evidence. They have proof. Okay, take them to court quickly. Oh, sure, you've arrested them. Take them to court quickly. So let them present their evidence in those places. It's been public talk and discussion. Let me not say knowledge, because the knowledge part of it is what this Kaigama's video and whistleblowing now seeks to bring to bear on everything. That, oh, it's not alleged, it's true. That kidnapping is an industry with major stakeholders, from the government in power to the governors in power and other key players. If a senator mentioned, let the senator clear himself, not by sitting in a pedestal and saying that person is lying. No, it's gone beyond that. This is a national issue. It's a national security issue. Thousands of lives of Nigerians have been lost, wasted, senselessly. And most of these people, poor, ordinary people who are just trying to go from day to day. And they go to their communities, go to their villages, gather them, kidnap them, kill, almost on a daily basis. And then call governments to pay ransom. That's the business. And that's what this video just finally exposes. So Senator Lindume should not be still covered by Senate. Yes, I'm not saying he's guilty, but then he should be made to answer to what has been alleged. Just like David Umahi over the issue of the death of that young woman, nothing is happening to him. He's still there, high and mighty. Just like the chief of staff to the president over the fake agency, fake DG issue. And this same administration is seeking re-election. How is that going to happen? No, seriously. If not that you are planning to do some untoward things, how are you? Festus Keyamo says he has done the calculation, that from the calculation, what is going to happen is corruption. Calculation from where? Things were not like this in 2023. Your principal lost Lagos. That is supposed to be his strongest hold. Oh, they say it was because wanting Naira, the scarcity of Naira. So you are, in essence, acknowledging that it's vote buying that you used to win election. That is because of scarcity of Naira that he lost. This time, what will be the excuse? Because he will lose Lagos. Whether you fix the election, fix it on Christmas Day. Nigerians have gotten here. They will suspend Christmas celebration and go and vote. And that's what we're urging you to do, the people of Nigeria. Go register to vote. Collect your PVCs. Make sure that your polling units are with walking distance of where you will be within that election time period. Stand as you vote to defend your votes. You sit at home, fewer people go to vote, it's easier to manipulate the elections. And then you come back and they're not, we told you we're going to win. We told you we'll win Ekiti, we won. How did you win Ekiti? I'm from Ekiti. It's not anything about against Ekiti, just like it's not anything against Nigeria. It's about and against those who are making Nigeria look bad, who are making Ekiti look bad, the politicians. The money you should use for development purposes, you are using to buy votes because you've weaponized both hunger and poverty. Yeah. Okay. We are going to play you at this point our in-house video. I also need to announce here again that, or rather, at least inform here that, yes, we are going on break with our live streams and our podcasts, but our short videos will be featured every week, even when we're not, live streaming. So you will still find short videos on issues about Nigeria in the May Nigeria Never Happened to You channel on YouTube. Yes. Okay. So once again, this is the last episode for this season. We'll be returning on the 28th of August. And we're still on the hunt for producing this book, Biafra Lest We Forget, as a documentary to tell my story as a young boy, my eyewitness account of that civil war, and the stories of other survivors and victims of that war that need to be told. Because you see, in all of this, it's like, oh, it doesn't matter. It's a long time ago. No. You see, everything that caused this war, crazier things have happened. It's only God that knows why Nigeria is still where it is. And we are praying that Nigeria should remain where it is, but reformed. And that reformation cannot happen when the peoples of Nigeria have not or would not have learned how to respect each other, cooperate, collaborate, partner with each other for the common good. And that's one of my primary reasons for saying the choice of Peter Obi and Engineer Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso couldn't have come at a better time than now. Okay, so we'll play you our in-house video. When we return, we'll take comments from community members, and then we try to call it a day on the season and on this episode. So let's watch our in-house video. We'll return.
Nigeria is a country where bandits receive ransoms, teachers are beheaded on camera with their killers still free, fake government agencies operate from federal buildings, and votes are purchased in broad daylight. None of these things are accidents. They are the outputs of a conspiracy so deeply embedded in Nigeria's governance structure that many have stopped recognizing him as such. This is the final episode of the quest for a safe Nigeria. Please subscribe and turn on notifications right now so you do not miss the series we have coming next. Budget padding is still happening, more like on steroids now. Ghost government agencies have overtaken ghost workers. Votes are being bought openly like in Ekiti State. A young woman died in a serving federal minister's, David Umahi's village home, and no meaningful accountability has followed. The killers of those teachers in Oyo State have still not been brought to book. These events share a common thread: the deliberate absence of consequences for those with power and the deliberate absence of protection for those without power. When a system consistently produces that outcome across different governments, different administrations, and different decades, calling it failure would be too generous. The biggest dimension of that conspiracy is what seems to have become an unwritten agreement that Nigerian lives simply do not have worth. That conspiracy also operates through distractions. As long as Nigerians are focused on debating individuals rather than demanding institutional performances, the system will remain untouched. For example, Mr. Peter Obi's interviews have recently become a significant point of public discussion in Nigeria, and from those discussions, some Nigerians are now, can President Tinubu subject himself to the same kind of open, unscripted interviews? That question belongs to every Nigerian regardless of who they support. Another layer of the conspiracy is the normalization of the criminal mindedness, tendencies and behaviors. In Nigeria today, those with criminal tendencies frequently get further than those with integrity. That inversion is a governance outcome maintained long enough to feel permanent. It feeds directly into the stifling of political opponents, the rewarding of loyalty over competence, and the marginalization of anyone who insists on integrity, transparency and accountability. Speaking out about all of these has never been easy in Nigeria, and that too is part of the conspiracy. Orekeosima Lawson, born March 4, 1938 in Buguma, Rivers State, South Nigeria, known across Africa as Cardinal Rex Lawson, was a founding voice of West African highlife music. His 1964 recording Ewu Neb Aqua, a song urging Nigerians to speak out, became the subject of one of Nigeria's most persistent musical conspiracies, with many claiming it mocked the death of Premier Ahmadu Bello, who was not actually assassinated until January 1966, 2 years after the song had been recorded. Nothing in the lyrics supports that claim. The conspiracy around the song is in itself proof of how easily truth gets buried in Nigeria when powerful interests find it convenient. Especially when conspiracies seem to consistently target a particular group, over time. This song is established as being recorded by Rex Lawson, an Ijaw man. However, it was attributed to Celestine Ukwu, an Igbo man, to firm up the negative narratives that have been used to taint the Igbos, documented and made public policy by the Sardauna of Sokoto, Sir Ahmadu Bello, in the now infamous 1964 television interview. What Nigeria needs now is leadership that is credible, accountable, transparent, and that unifies. Leadership that has proven capacities to transition Nigeria from consumption to productivity. Leadership that understands that governance is about service and protection of lives and properties. Leadership that would submit to the peoples of Nigeria and to statutory scrutiny accordingly. Mr. Peter Obi has consistently demonstrated those standards, and the alliance he is building with engineer Rabiu Kwankwaso represents a serious, evidence-based alternative to the perennial system that has produced the conspiracies discussed in this episode. The peoples of Nigeria must demand those same standards from every candidate in the 2027 general elections, not just at the presidential level but at every level of governance across all 37 states. The peoples of Nigeria need to register as voters, collect their PVCs, demand a referendum to transition back to regions, and refuse to let the conspiracy of distractions, impunity, and manufactured division define Nigeria any longer. The system that seems to have captured the Nigerian state depends on the silence of the peoples of Nigeria. The solution to breaking those perennial conspiracies against Nigeria and the peoples of Nigeria needs to begin with the peoples of Nigeria standing together to declare, enough is enough, with their votes for the candidates whose track records portray credibility, integrity, transparency, accountability, prudence, productivity, protection of lives and properties, and unity. Our full live stream goes much deeper on all of those. Please watch it at May Nigeria Never Happened to You and bring your questions. Thank you for watching. Please share this video with everyone you know with interest in Nigeria's development and well-being. Please subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss the next video. May Nigeria happen for all its peoples, and for friends of Nigeria.
Welcome back. Well, as always, we try to package all that we would need to say, all that would have said, all that would have been needed to be said on the program, and our short video, which means you could go take that short video out on itself, on its own, to watch if you don't like my voice, okay, and you don't like my face. But yeah, sure, it happens, but you could still benefit from our short video. Okay, it's there as a standalone short video on the channel, on the main Nigeria Never Happened to You channel on YouTube, so you could download it and use it, watch it, share it as many times as you would like. Once again, this is the last episode. This is live stream and podcast on the main Nigeria Never Happened to You program on YouTube via Nostalgia Media. We'll be taking a break after today. We'll return on the 28th of August with a brand new season 4. This is the end of season 3. Please support us, donate to our GoFundMe campaign to produce a documentary. People prefer to watch movies and watch pictures. Yeah, movies, pictures, documentaries, and to read books, okay? If you've donated already, thank you. If you've not donated, please scan the QR code, okay, donate, or you could scan the QR code and buy the book itself for yourself or gift someone else. Knowledge is power, you know, we keep hearing that. There's a lot of information in that book about Nigeria and Nigeria's issues, even about the current things happening at the time. You'll be surprised, you'll be amazed, and well, did this happen that time too? Is this like some kind of deja vu story? No, yeah. It's like a cycle, okay? And then that cycle must be broken. And we think that the bullets, the silver bullets, the magical combination that will break that cycle of Nigerians being the ones doing themselves, Peter Obi and Engineer Rabiu Musa Kwakwan. So let's take comments and contributions from community members at this point. The first one here says, you discuss vote buying in Ekiti State. Beyond condemning it, what realistic measure can stop vote buying before the 2027 election? The first thing we recommended, the episode after that election was arrest that young woman. There's a face. Yes. Arrest her. There has to be accountability. If there's no accountability, it keeps happening. If people know that they could go to jail for selling their votes, exchanging their PVC for food and all of that, they would instruct themselves not to. Yes. Make people accountable. Yeah. From that election, that picture is still there. We still played it today. That young woman, I'm sorry. Well, you broke the law. So it's not a case of what if she's your daughter. No, I don't think any child that will sell. No, it's not possible. It has nothing to do with poverty. All of us could as well have become armed robbers. All of us could have been looting government funds. Peter Obi could have looted the treasuries of Anambra State. So it's not about, oh, I was born into a poor family, I was sort of. No. You must be accountable for your actions. Arrest her. Make a sample of her and other people. When you arrest her, there will be other people. Arrest them. I'm saying arrest her. That's a picture I've seen. We have it. If you don't have it, we'll send it to you, DSS. So if you don't know what her face looks like, we'll send it to you. Police, if you don't know, we'll send it to you so you know what her face. Arrest her. When you arrest her, you trace the money. Who gave her? The person who gave her, who gave to that person to share, to buy votes. You follow the money. Accountability. Yes, that's the first thing. The second person here says, what safeguards would need to exist to ensure regional governments do not simply repeat the same problems? Which one is regional governments do not still repeat? It's the same thing. Accountability. Let people know that there will be consequences for their actions. You do right, you get rewarded. You do wrong, you face the music. It's simple. If that's not happening, that's what the issue of Senator Ndume being mentioned. That's what the issue of the chief of staff of the president, being all of those people that have been the minister for works, the same thing. The Senate president, a woman slapped her over NDDC or no NDDC, forensic audit for NDDC or no. It's the same thing. Instead of the system holding people accountable, it's holding indicted people or people who should be indicted, it's rewarding them. That shouldn't happen, excuse me. Or rather, that shouldn't continue to happen. You can't continue to reward failures and criminalities. No, you must be held accountable, okay? Another community member here says, if you were to interview President Tinubu, what would be the first 3 questions you would ask him? Is it true or false that you forfeited money to the US government in 1993? That's my first question. You didn't say what are the other questions. Okay, you did say what is the first 3 questions. That's my first question. So while he's dealing with that, I would ask him, sir, where were you born? When you are telling me that, please, when exactly and who are your parents? Can you tell me that? My number 2 question will have A, B, C, D. You could even get to Z. Your classmates, where are they? The 3rd question I would ask him, what would you profit from seeing Nigeria disintegrate in your watch? President Tinubu doesn't have any regard for nationalistic anything. National unity doesn't concern me. He is not interested in union anything. He's an architect of divide and rule. He's a prime architect and a practitioner of divide and rule. Yes. So I will ask him, what would benefit you? That's the 3rd question. Remember, my number 2 question has A, B, C, D. I'm allowed to do that now. Those will be my questions. Okay. The 4th person here says, how can Nigerians distinguish between patriotism and blind loyalty to political leaders? It's easy. When people are not talking about things that unite people, When allegiance is not to the Nigerian flag or even the skewed constitution, no respect for national institutions and officers, public officers, I mean, yeah, you know, that's the hallmark of patriotism and bootlicking and sycophancy. Yeah. The fifth one here says, is there a danger that social media activism creates the illusion of action without producing real change? It's not true. That time has passed, really. Okay? Look, the reverse is the case now. What you see on social media now has been activated in real time. Yes. Things you see on social media now have happened in real time and are reproduced for social media. What you see in social media are reports, pictures, content to tell you what people have already, yes. So there's no illusion. And I'm glad that this whole narrative about the South African musician and all of that has taken place at this time. To let you know, the person who answered this question, thank you for asking it. Who's answered? The person who asked this question, thank you for asking. To let you know that there's no illusion. They follow through. Don't come, don't do. It's real. But then it only becomes real, as in not become destructively real, when the people involved are affected or being addressed use their senses and respect themselves. The young South African musician has respected herself and said, okay, I'm not going to Nigeria. The people who are going to conduct the 2027 election, are they sensible enough to respect themselves and say, look, I don't want trouble. Let's anybody that wins, win. Is that what is happening in Australia? Is that what they are preparing in Australia now? It doesn't look like it. So there you go. So the young people are still watching every step and they're organizing and mobilizing. So we wait and see. Okay. The sixth person here says, if Nigeria had stronger institutions, would the identity of the president matter as much? No. No. No, but the politicians in their conspiracies have used tribe, religion, group, this group, that, to make you to fight amongst yourselves. While they don't fight, they don't fight. The only time you hear them fight is when they don't agree on sharing formula. When somebody has, you know, reneged on the sharing formula, a la what happened with the fake DG of the fake, alleged fake DG, alleged fake agency, a la the ransom for Borno kidnapped victims and the senator and Mr. Kaigama. That so you find out that those things would, you know, happen, but Nigerians don't care when the person. Look, there was a time you didn't care who the governor of your state was. You don't even know his name. Don't care. Doesn't know. But you see, what I don't understand is these people are doing, politicians and their cronies want you to know that they are the ones spending your money. They want you to know that they are the ones who have stolen your money. They want you to know that they are the ones who have impoverished you, and they are spending this your money, and you cannot do anything about it. That's how they've been living. So people have noticed them. They were angry that Nigerians were going on, still managing to do their businesses. They don't care. Nigerians have become their own water corporation, their own electricity supply companies, their own road construction companies, even in some cases, their own security agencies, until they outsourced banditry and kidnapping and terrorism. Oh, they outsourced it by inviting foreigners who have no linkages, no allegiance to the communities that are invading and slaughtering. Because they don't have any link to them, they are not their people, so it don't concern. It was the same thing during the Civil War, by the way. There was a stage of the Civil War that the federal government went to go and import this same people from this same group. And the Biafrans used to call them Godu Godu. And even the Biafran troop, the federal troops themselves confessed, the retired military officer who did the documentary with the BBC, I'm trying to remember his name now, is in one of his books that Nigeria went and recruited soldiers from outside Nigeria, and those ones were heartless. Yeah. So it's the same thing, the same cycle, the same conspiracies, the same distractions, the same manipulations being in cycle. So Nigerians don't care who the president is, who the governor is, who the senator is, so long as things are happening. They go about their life. I've said it so many times. Nigerians are very, very law-abiding people, very cooperative. I know what in some of the countries where I say things are, let's not go wrong. Oh yeah, where the rule of law plays. Yes, the people who would riot and break things will be arrested, will be taken to court and all that. But people who have not done anything, who just protest, nothing is destroyed, have been arrested. People who have not even protested anything, their protest is that they made a post on social media. The security agencies know where they are to go and arrest them, to go and take them, but they don't know where the kidnappers are. The people who returned the children and teachers in Oyo and beheaded a teacher and killed another one, they're still out there. So that distraction has passed. It has not passed. The people didn't start. That's the 1964, 66, 67 war. That is 1870. Has not ended. It didn't start in Enugu. In the southwest. Yes. If it started from thief land to jail for their campaign now not eat, yes, sent him to jail for daring to bear Sadana and the NPC and the so-called I'm not clapping for him. I'm not an alpha. Okay? But they sent him to jail. Now, they didn't stop. They invited his deputy, Akintola, to join them. Rigged the election in the South. State of emergency. People didn't vote. It's still them, still the politicians fighting and killing themselves and killing ordinary people. Have in what they were doing, except that they were voting, which was not true. Not voting. The vote stuffing, buying, and all of that is not today. So that war did not start in Enugu, it started in Ibadan. And there's a precipitation for such things to start again from the southwest again, starting with the Orire kidnapping, starting with ostracization, the governor, I mean, throwing him aside in all of that thing, up to him calling for the international community to, I think those things are just already happenstances. They are related. What is the issue? He decided to take the presidency. They don't want him to. They don't want him to say, okay, everybody must give way to the emperor. And the man said, no, I'm me. Akintola, they made him to say, I'm me. But there are other people who supported Awo. Awo was in hell, but then he had supporters. That war started in the southwest. A state of emergency was declared in the southwest. People were being killed, life and property. Go and ask the military officers who are living today, who does it. So they can try to hoodwink you, say it's an Igbo thing, and the soldiers intervened to stop the excesses of the political class. One of the conspiracy theories is an Igbo coup. it has stuck, it has remained. The narrative has remained up to history must not be taught in secondary schools. So we don't know the truth. Unfortunately, as always, they didn't put God in the equation. God made some human beings to come up with the idea of building the internet. The internet gave birth to social media. Social media has become a counter strategy against mainstream media because government had bought mainstream media. So then government will say, okay, this is what we want to hear. That's still what is happening. Most of the things that people know about today is not what mainstream media is saying. Mainstream media is theater. What's happening in mainstream media? The politicians, are they discussing any real issues? No, they are not. It is this person come and abuse the other person, abuse. The real discussions are happening on social media, like on this program. That's the difference. Okay. Thankfully, the last question here, or the last contribution, things won't change just like that. What sacrifices will every citizen in Nigeria need to make for a better country? Starts with speaking out from where you are. You have a phone. I just said God gave somebody the sense to create the internet, which gave back to social media. Social media is for free. Yes, for free in quotes, because you still have to have data, you still have to have, you know, resources to run programs maybe like this, but you don't even need your phone in front to speak, whatever, record it, put it on your social media page or handle. Yes, but be factual. Don't abuse anybody. Be accurate as much as possible. Where you make a mistake, do another video to say, oh, I goofed, I made a mistake that time. Not because you are afraid, of because you want to do the right thing. Then go and register, vote, collect your PVC. Out of those content that you will make using your phone, we want a referendum and the ballot to be on the ballot for the 2020. Do videos, all of you, start now. We want a referendum of how Nigeria needs to be structured on that. We want to go back to regions, not regional, the 6 geopolitical regions. No. That's a confusion. That's a duplication. That is just to create another structure to pacify politicians and their cronies. Somebody will be appointed the DG of that to reduce that, this one too. Yes. The same way they have looked at the NDC and did forensic, which they have refused to release, the same thing that's going to happen. Is cosmetic. It's not going to solve any problem. It's not going to. The peoples of Nigeria must have a voice in how they want to put themselves. And for that to happen, that 1999 constitution has to be visited with the peoples of Nigeria having a voice in determining the core of that constitution, or whatever constitution will now be used to govern the peoples of Nigeria. All of it, the military that decreed law. Nigerians or the people of Nigeria had no input in that, how that constitution to be. Spin it, twist it anyway, they did not. Is Abdul Salam Abubakar administration that didn't even last 1 year that created the constitution and enshrined biases, dangerous biases inside it that has empowered people now, more people now, to believe they can do been not doing. Peoples of Nigeria are saying, no, this is not working, it's not going to work. Demand, organize, mobilize, speak out, and then take action. Action, register to vote, collect your people, go out. I remember that 1993 election, MKO Abiola. It was raining in Lagos. I was in Lagos. Queued up. We didn't move. It went smoothly. When I said right, what with the president is this whole tribe religious thing is contrived by the politicians themselves. Abiola was in. Ambassador Bagana Kingibe was a Muslim. Nobody took to the street that is Muslim. As insensitive people didn't, but we will vote Abiola. We know we've seen what he's been doing. We've seen his relationship. We've seen his empathy. Was he a saint? No. What happened? If this guy becomes Nigeria, will settle somehow. They will have power again. That's the issue. They said now, if people they're making you believe that it's because it's evil. No, it's a lie. It's because they know that there will be change, will not be relevant anymore. You will not become, if you are not in possession of this, if you do not have this kind of background, if you don't have this kind of track record, you cannot not come forward and say you want to contest for public office. That's what the fear is. That's what the conspiracy is about. Because an emergence of the combination of Obi and Kwakwanso would make more credible Nigerians to. It must be about service. It must be about solving problems. Right now, it's about fulfilling the wishes of the, okay? So that people, I'm so excited that will come to the end of last season. Say prayer, guys, in Nigeria never happened to you. Episode 13 season. We are taking a break from today. We'll be back on the 28th. A brand new season, brand new episodes. Okay. So design take a break. It's been a long year because this program was started about August last year. It's a long year for me to appear here and go. I'm grateful for all of you that have supported us. This, please remember again, please donate to my GoFundMe campaign to produce this book as a documentary with my story and the story of other victims and survivors of that war, which would tell those of us that didn't know much about it, what really happened, and how we could respond or how we could behave or how we should actually be responding to make sure that this does not happen again. Thank you. You could also pick up a copy, scan this QR code, okay, to do your donation if you haven't, to buy a copy if you haven't yet. So thank you. My name is still Richie Adeus. I have to break from being here every week for maybe a little bit. It's less than a month, then I'll be back again and we go. So thank you. I'll catch you in season 4. In season 4, we are going to be running a series of on the quest for a working Nigeria. That will be our focus for season 4. Thank you. See you then.